Grace Radheshyam Prabhu, and it got a little bit delayed because of some unavoidable circumstances. So, what is the time now? 7:15. So, we apologize for the same. I'll just give a quick introduction to His Grace Radheshyam Prabhu. Please give a warm welcome to Prabhu. I met Radheshyam Prabhu at Pune ISKCON quite a few years ago, and I'm sure this must be the first time you are meeting Prabhu. But whoever meets Prabhu has, comes with a very special impression about Krishna consciousness. Even just seeing him is so inspirational. And Prabhu is an MTech. IIT Mumbai. Very briefly, I will announce he served as president of ISKCON Pune for last 25 years, leading to a community of 6,000 members. He is a director of youth club called Voice, Vedic Oasis for Inspiration, Culture and Education. He is a compiler of youth books like Stress to Smile, 5-volume Essence of Gita, designer of Discover Yourself 6-session course for youth and corporates, Global Excellence Award winner for educating youth in Bhagavad Gita, Jiva Goswami Award winner for Innovative Youth Outreach, GDO, Global Duty Officer for Youth Outreach, visiting Boston and other places in USA for 2 months per year. He's a youth trainer in the last 30 years in all leading IITs, NITs and others, and reach outs to Pune, Calcutta, Kanpur, Mumbai, Thane, Bangalore, Hyderabad, Chennai, Dharwad, Belgaum and Mysore. So many places. He has presented seminars at MIT, Boston, Stanford University, University of Washington, Cornell University, etc. And he corporate seminar presenter at Amazon, Bank of America, Infosys, Cognizant, Persistent. I don't know what that is, persistent. But anyway, that kind of gives you an idea the years of teaching experience that Prabhu has, and we are extremely fortunate to have Radheshyam Prabhu here. And Prabhu, your name? Sri Gopal. Yeah, it's Sri Gopal Pran Prabhu is accompanying Sri Radheshyam Prabhu in his travels. Please give a warm welcome to both of them. Thank you.
I can show a PPT, yeah? You have a... Where is the screen? Okay. Can we move it a little bit? Yeah. I can put that power card. Hare Krishna. Om Ajnanatirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuhunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishcha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद, श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। It's coming, somewhere. So welcome all of you. Mataji had given me a very special topic called servant leadership. So leadership is well known. What is the servant leadership? This is in English also called as stewardship leadership, which actually means the leader doesn't think I lead and others follow. One doesn't feel like that. One feels that the team leads and I assist. That is the consciousness in which the leader leads the group. It's a very special type of consciousness. Like you all know Lord Krishna in the battlefield of Kurukshetra, he is an advisor and Arjuna is an actor. Correct, no? Uh, So Arjuna will do wonders in the battlefield and Krishna will applaud. So this is not very easy. Generally, the team leader may want to do wonderful things and he may want the team to applaud for him. Correct, no? But if we can make our people, our constituents, or our members of the team do wonderful things and we can applaud, that is not an ordinary thing. Like Srila Prabhupada was sitting behind and hearing a lecture by one of his disciples. And the disciple was trembling on the Vyasasana, thinking that Prabhupada is watching me. I shouldn't commit any mistake. So, why Prabhupada did that? Because Prabhupada actually wanted to empower his disciples to become future leaders. One Janmashtami time, Prabhupada called many of his disciples to sit in chairs. He put many chairs. They thought just Prabhupada is calling us to just come and sit, so they sat. Some 7, 8 of them. And Prabhupada then turned to Brahmananda and said, Brahmananda, speak now. Speak? Speak what? Prabhupada said, today is Janmashtami day, so we should speak about Krishna. And he asked Prabhupada, what should I speak about Krishna? He said, hey, you have heard so much. Can't you say a few words about Krishna? It's like imagine you are put on the stage and suddenly all the stage lights are on and they are all focusing on you. Suddenly you are told to give a seminar. So now as soon as he began speaking, the other disciples started preparing in their mind. Now our turn will come now. So actually Prabhupada was not such a leader where he said, I will do great things and you all applaud. He wanted to make his followers into great leaders also. In Delhi, when Prabhupada was traveling in the train, one gentleman met Srila Prabhupada in the train and said, Swamiji, you are preaching in Mumbai, you are preaching in other parts of India, but don't you know Delhi is the capital? Huh? It's an economic, Delhi is a political capital of the country. There's nothing happening in Delhi. And Prabhupada became very interested. He called the man, okay, sit here, please tell me more. Huh? He heard almost an hour, Prabhupada went talking to him. And then when Delhi city arrived, the man said, I have to get down now. Prabhupada immediately called Gurudas Prabhu and said, please, the man is getting down, you also go with him. He said, Prabhupada, why should I go? He said, go and start a center in Delhi. Huh? And Gurudas Prabhu was from America. He didn't know what Delhi was. He doesn't know Hindi. Huh? And Prabhupada actually made him get down along with him. So it's like, you throw somebody into a swimming pool and they will learn swimming. Prabhupada actually empowered people. So many Prabhupada disciples say, we had no trust in ourselves, but we had trust in Prabhupada's, trust in us. Actually, when we saw him have so much trust that we can do things, we suddenly got the Shakti to do great things. Just like Hanuman had forgotten his power. That is a blessing for Hanuman, you see. Hanuman had a lot of powers, but he was not able to remember them. But if somebody would remind him of those powers, then he would start remembering them and he would start exhibiting them. Correct, no? He would do that. Imagine if we all had that same blessing, how nice it will be, we have no chance to become proud. Huh? Isn't it? So Hanuman was just quiet amongst all the monkeys when Angada asked, who can jump to Lanka? One monkey said, I can jump 50 yojanas, he said. But then the distance to be covered is 100 yojanas. Somebody said 60, somebody said 80, somebody said 90, somebody said 100. Somebody said, I can jump 100, but I am not sure whether I can come back. Then Angada said, what's the use? If you see Sita and you can't give the news back, then what is the use of you staying there? So he was looking for somebody. And then Jambavan said, in our group is sitting one silent monkey and he is capable of doing this. But he is not going to speak out himself. So let me tell his glories. And then he started speaking the glories of whom? Hanuman. When he spoke, then Hanuman's power started increasing. He started becoming bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and his full Shakti manifested. And then Hanuman said, yes, yeah, I will definitely do it, a service to Ram. So you see that by encouragement, uh, uh, one's confidence increases. Prabhupada encouraged his disciples and he gave them the confidence that they can do if they surrender to Krishna and Guru. Hmm. When three couples were sent to London, you all know that very well, how they preached. And actually, it's very surprising for us how they lived. In London, they were living in a shack. Shack means like a milk booth, which is lying on the side of the road. They were living, at the time, Malati Mataji had a small baby also, Saraswati, a little girl. I was thinking in India, no family will allow a lady to go with a small daughter to do such preaching work. You can imagine how strange and difficult it is. So three couples, they were living like that in shacks in the side of the road. And in 4 months, they made four devotees. Preacher and brought four devotees chanting 16 rounds. Then they decided that we'll make one phone call to Prabhupada. They made a phone call and talked to him. Prabhupada, by your grace and your strong desire, four boys have, four people have joined us. And and they were introducing their names, telling Prabhupada. Prabhupada was very, very happy. Prabhupada said, previously, there were others preaching there for 30, 35 years, and they had made just one or two devotees, like Elizabeth Towell became Vinod Vani Dasi in Gaudiya Math before. But many others tried, but it was very difficult to preach in London. But you fellows, in 4 months, you have met four devotees, three couples. And Prabhupada said, it is only because of your firm faith in spiritual master and firm faith in the holy name, he said. You could do this miracle, magic. And Prabhupada very much appreciated them. And later on, he personally went. So that empowerment comes certainly by blessing of Guru and encouragement of Guru. So a servant leader is one who does not delight in doing great things, but who delights in making his members do great things, and makes them to become great leaders. Like Krishna, for example, all of you think for a moment, Krishna took the Sudarshan Chakra and finished the Kurukshetra battle in one moment. Then Mahabharata will be only one page only. Krishna took the chakra and the battle was over. It won't be 18 days description. Instead, you find Krishna riding the chariot, and then he's telling Arjuna, Arjuna is crying also in the beginning. He's depressed also, not ready to fight also. Somebody may say, why are you, after Arjuna? Just leave that fellow. Just you take the chakra and finish up the job. But Krishna is not doing that. You will see that he's preaching to Arjuna, and then Arjuna wakes up, and then 18 days there are so many complications happens. And Krishna keeps on advising. So even all of us as preachers and leaders, if we patiently groom people in our care, to polish them and make them grow and shine and do great things for Prabhupada mission, and that requires patience, it requires time investment, it requires appreciation, uh, it requires confidence and hope in the people whom we are training and grooming, making them leaders. So certain traits are required for a servant leader, which I thought I will share with you today. Yeah. See, taking your mind away from yourself and pay attention to others' needs, interests, concerns, and expectations. Actually, this is not a very easy thing, the first one. Huh? Generally, most people in the world are selfish. They more or less take care of themselves and think about their own needs and interests. And they openly express it also, many people. They not only express, they demand also. So they don't grow as great leaders, nor do they provide shelter to people. Because they are like Ashoka tree. You know, Ashoka tree can provide a very short shelter, very small shelter. Banyan tree can provide a very large shelter. So for us to be able to provide a large shelter, large number of people, we should be able to take our mind away from our own needs, interests, and concerns and expectations, and think about others. So, like for example, parents should think about children, and children should think about parents. Husband should think about wife's needs, interests, and wife should think about husbands. Similarly, an employer thinks about the needs of the employees. Employees should think about the employers. How can the company flourish? Like in ISKCON, for example, every member of ISKCON should think, how can we make our temple a wonderful temple? And the temple leader should be thinking, how can we serve our community members and make them more happy? So, this kind of thought process of not thinking about ourselves but thinking about others, it's actually called selfless attitude. So, this is one of the aspects of a genuine leader. You might have heard the example of the story. A farmer had a goose, which was laying golden eggs. Every day it would give one golden egg. So the farmer should feed the goose and get the golden egg, or he just cuts the goose into two and keeps the backside so that it will keep on giving golden eggs. Will it give? If you cut and keep the backside is going to give golden egg only if you feed the front side. So feeding the goose means caring for people. And taking the golden egg means focusing on the output that they can give. So, in every case, you can apply this. For example, parents are concerned that children become very good in academics and get into a very good college and get a big job and make a lot of money, and this is our desire. Parents have expectation like that. But how do they raise the children? What are we doing for the children? They have to pay attention to that also. So you understand the difference between the golden egg and the goose, feeding the goose. So feeding the goose is what we do for the children, and golden egg is what the children give to parents. In the same manner, in a team also, like in ISKCON, book distribution, fundraising, seva, rendering services to the deities, rendering services in the temple, varieties of services, preaching outreach services and all that. So these are all golden egg, output given by the members of the community. And the care for the members of the community is actually like feeding the goose. Is it clear to everybody? So which is important? Caring for, and that is the question that's going to come now. Should we focus on people or projects? Let us take a vote. How many of you say we should focus on people? Okay, on caring for the people. How many of you say focus on projects? Nobody. Okay. There are one or two hands up here and there. How many of you feel we should focus on both equally, people and projects? Almost equal hands, yeah. Actually, we have to focus on both people and projects. See, focusing only on people means only feeding the goose and not caring for the golden eggs. You keep on feeding the goose and keep on walking. Keep on feeding the goose. And the goose is laying golden eggs, you throw it here and there. You don't care for it. Will you do that? Huh? Or you are only seeing the backside of the goose. Keep on laying golden eggs. But you don't feed the goose. What will happen? The goose will die. Similarly, if you don't care for people, they won't be able to produce good results tomorrow. So, at the same time, caring for people also should bring out good results. Now, for example, when we talk about caring for the people, there are 6 things we do in our community. In Pune also, we are doing 6 things. One is, the very first thing is Priti Lakshanam. Devotees should come together, study the Shastras together. In groups, there should be groups of devotees coming periodically. And study of Shastra is very important thing to enhance our understanding of Krishna consciousness, as well as to thicken our relationship with one another amongst devotees, and feel friendliness amongst devotees. If you are not friendly with devotees, we are going to be friendly with non-devotees, which can be very detrimental to our spiritual life. So that is Priti Lakshanam. And secondly, the spiritual training is very important also. That is also a part of the care. Like we should read small books, medium books, bigger books, and then Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, Bhakti Shastri, Bhakti Vaibhava, all these courses we should undergo. Spiritual training is very important. Spiritual training also includes sadachar. What is sadachar? Sadachar means behavior, Vaishnava behavior. So both we should have the strength of the tattva jnana and also strength of the sadachar, good behavior also. If we know knowledge and we have no good behavior, nobody will appreciate it. Some people have good behavior, but they don't have any knowledge. That is also not good. We need a combination of Shastric study, which should not make us proud. We should also be humble. So, relationship amongst devotees, Priti Lakshana. Then secondly, I told you spiritual knowledge and behavior, good behavior. And thirdly, every member of the community should get a personalized care. Personalized care means you have someone whom you can identify with above you. You are accountable to somebody, you are taking guidance from somebody, you can be corrected by somebody, you open your heart to some superior, and you see somebody as a role model, then from that person you get a personalized care. So if every member of the community has somebody like that, that's a very rich community in terms of stability. So, and besides this, other things like training in skills, for example, if there's a deity department, training in how to worship the deity and do the services. Similarly, training in Mardanga, training in Kartal, training in music, training in speaking the scriptures, and training in making outfits for the deities, training for making ornaments. So all training. Those who want to get training in some particular field, they should have a facility for getting trained. That's also one aspect of community. Yeah. And then there should be proper communication without any misunderstanding. That is also one aspect of community. Proper communication at appropriate time. So in this way, there are different aspects of care for people I am talking about. When all this care is given, the community will blossom very beautifully. And focusing on the project means, Prabhupada very clearly said that the most interesting, most service he was most interested to see happen in his ISKCON is what Prabhupada expected all his contributors to do. Of course, cooperate with one another, but Prabhupada wanted them to distribute books. Several times Prabhupada has emphasized on book distribution and preaching, expanding the temples, distributing holy name, distributing prasadam, and reaching out this knowledge to nook and corner of society. So our GBC of ISKCON has come together and they have put up a very simple motto of ISKCON. When I was in Mayapur, they were putting a song on this. You know what is the motto? Anybody knows? You all can repeat after me, okay? More devotees, happy devotees. So they sang with a beautiful guitar in Mayapur. More devotees, happy devotees. Lord Krishna wanted it. Like they were playing. They were put a song. And then they said, Lord Chaitanya wanted it. They said, then Prabhupada wanted it. And then they said, we all wanted it. They said. So, more devotees means like you're all in Naperville now. More devotees means reach everyone, engage everyone. That is called more devotees. That means there are 200,000 people in Naperville. So you have to reach every one of those fellows. And you have to engage them in Krishna service. That is called more devotees. And happy devotees means right from now, when you become a devotee, up to the last point of last breath you take, one should not leave Krishna's lotus feet. One should stay in the association of devotees. And one should feel cared for, loved and wanted and protected and sheltered and be a part of the community which is like a family. And at every cross section of your life, you should be having some meaningful service. That is called as happy devotee. For happiness, there are two components. One is you are cared for and sheltered and protected under somebody's warmth. Along with it, you have some service to do which you can identify with and you are jubilantly doing that service. So, there are more devotees and happy devotees. That's the motto of ISKCON. Srila Prabhupada said. So we have a clear-cut goal, that mission to accomplish. We just, there is sustenance, which is one end of the pendulum, and missionary spirit is another end of the pendulum. And we need a balance between the two. In the early days of ISKCON, in Prabhupada's times, everybody went out and book distribution and Harinam Sankirtan all day, every day, and some of them got burnt out due to excessive going out and not studying the scriptures and everything. That is extreme missionary activity. Later on, many ISKCON devotees started saying that we should give attention to family values. We should take care of our family and job and earn money, and first take care of yourself, then we can take care of preaching and everything. Then they went to the other extreme of the pendulum, which is sustenance. So we need sustenance or missionary spirit. Which one you need? We need both. So we need a balance between the two. We should not go to the extremes like that. So therefore I told you, we have to focus on people and projects, not people or projects. Yeah. See, the first fellow is focusing on people. Second fellow is focusing on project. You see the picture. Huh? But we need to focus on both. Like you can see, Lord Rama and Bharat, they have a very sweet relationship. Ram told Bharat, when you all know this, Bharat went to the forest to bring his elder brother Ram back to Ayodhya. You know that? How many of you heard this pastime? You know it? Most of you know it, yeah. Yes. Actually, Lord Rama was supposed to become the heir apparent, but he was sent away to forest by Kaikeyi, his stepmother. So his younger brother, Kaikeyi's son, Bharat, goes to the forest. And this competition is an amazing competition. Why? Because Bharat is telling Ram, you come back and you become the king, my dear brother. And Ram is telling Bharat, no, I will finish my 14 years term in the forest as per mother's order. And you go back and become the king. So there is a competition between Ram and Bharat. Anybody can tell me what type of competition is this? Is there a competition or not between Ram and Bharat? What type of competition is it? Yeah, that is true. So what would you call it as? Like, are both fighting for the chair, or they are both, they are fighting, but this fighting is out of love. Correct, no? It's a loving fight. Like in Bombay, way back in 1987, my spiritual master was taking a yatra. One senior devotee was telling me, in that one couple told me when they came to Pune, that the senior devotees were walking up the hill, Tirupati or somewhere. At that time, the younger junior devotees were walking with their bags up the hill. And the seniors told the younger ones, hey, you are all walking up the hill, you must be very tired, please give your bags. And the new upcoming devotees happily gave the bags to the seniors. And seniors carried both the bags and they climbed up. 2 years later, there was a yatra again. When the seniors asked for the bags, the juniors refused to give, they felt shy. They said, no, we will manage our bags, no problem. And 2 years later, again there was a yatra, they were climbing up Ahobilam or somewhere up the hill. Seniors asked for the bags. Now juniors said to seniors, you give your bag, we will carry now. Now, anybody can explain to me why this difference came about in the 3 years? Yeah? Who felt compassion? Yeah, who felt compassion? Yeah. Yeah. So, how their mindset has changed from giving the bags instead of taking their bags. Yeah? Okay, gratitude for the seniors. Compassion, she said. Anything else? Training. Humility. Anybody else from men's side, this side? Yeah? Oh, love for the seniors, okay? Serving mode. Consciousness increased. Okay, very good. Their consciousness has increased and they have become more mature than before. Initially, they were taking service. Now they wanted to offer service. They want to offer service. So we all, when we become more mature, we adopt this type. We don't think about our own selfish agenda or desires. We think about others. Rama is thinking about Bharat and Bharat is thinking about Rama. It's not very easy. Similarly, as it was written here, you all know when Ram was going to forest, was he ready to take Sita with him? He actually went and told Sita, you stay back. I want to see that you stay with the three mothers and 14 years will go like a moment. I'll come back. And You be peaceful, and don't worry, I will quickly come back, he said. Sita asked, what are you talking? How can you leave me alone? If I come with you to the forest, I will see the waterfalls in the mountains, and I will see cuckoos cooing and peacocks dancing, and I like to see the forest beauty. And with you by my side, she said, life would be so enjoyable. But if I stay back in the palace, even the soft bed in the palace would be like a bed of thorns for me, she said. And Ram said, no, Sita, don't imagine forest life is so good. You don't know. In the night, you won't get a palace like this to sleep. You will have to sleep under trees. And there are wild animals like lions and tigers which are praying for food. And we can become victims of those dangerous animals. And you don't get good food to eat. You will have to eat some roots and berries in the forest. So I can adjust somehow, but you can't adjust. Therefore, I have decided that you should stay back, he said. Sita loudly cried and said, my father married me to you. Did he marry for you to leave me alone like this and go? If you take me with you, I will walk ahead of you and take away the thorns in the forest. So the thorns won't prick your feet, let them prick my feet. But now you are going alone and I am not allowed to serve you and care for you. So when you come back, you will not find me alive. Either I will enter fire or I will consume poison or I'll enter some river and I'll die. You will not see me alive, she said. She cried loudly. Then immediately Ram embraced her and patted her and said, Sita, actually I can't be separated from you for even for a moment, he said. But I was just conducting a test to check whether you are really serious to come with me. Now that you have passed the test, I will take you with me, he said. So when I read it, I was very surprised because if any other husband was there, he would have told the wife, my dear wife, I have been ordered to go to forest for 14 years and you have to accompany me, otherwise who will cook for me? And the wife may be shouting, no, 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 punishment is not for me, it's only for you. She says. Just think, imagine a family fighting like that. Wife is crying, husband is crying both. That's a selfish family, is it not true? Correct. So, actually everybody is like that in Ramayana. Like Rama goes to his mother. He's telling his mother, Mother, I'm going to forest for 14 years, please bless me. Mother is saying, you are obedient to your father. Will you not be obedient to your mother? She asked, okay, I will obey you, mother. Please tell me, what do you want me to do? She says, your father says go to forest. I am telling you don't go to forest. She said, because Bharat let him become the king. But you can stay back. I will convince Kaikeyi that Bharat will be the king and you will not be the king. And second boon can be cancelled, she said. Ram said, nothing doing. Father's Pitruvachan, father's order should never be broken. I must go. Then she said, okay, take me with you, she said. Ram said, see, a wife should always stay with the husband. Your wife should not go anywhere else away from the husband. Because husband and wife are like half of body. Like that is Ardhanarishwar. So now she loudly cried. She said, if I tell you to stay, you are not staying. If I tell you I want to come with you, you are not taking me. That means you are determined to separate me from you, Ram? Like that she asked Kaushalya. Ram asked her, Mother, if you cry like this, how there will be auspicious for me in the forest? It's only by your blessings I am hoping to survive in the forest for 14 years. When mother heard it, immediately she wiped her tears and called the Brahmins and spoke auspicious invocation of mantras. So Rama is very intelligent. You will see he is so caring for his mother, so caring for his wife, not caring for himself. And not only he is like that, Lakshman appeared there in the scene. Rama told Lakshman, Lakshman, please take care of the three mothers, he said. Lakshman said, what? Three mothers will be taken care by Bharat. And then he said, as far as I am concerned, I have already packed my luggage to go with you. He said, I will walk ahead of you, and if any animals come our way, I will finish them. No animal can trouble you. I will make a beautiful cottage for you and Sita to sleep. And I will take bow and arrow in my hand and go round and round, offering you protection. And I have taken a vow that 14 years I will not sleep. And then Indra Devi came in front of Lakshman and said, oh sir, how can you say no to sleep for 14 years? Either you should accept or you should give me another place to go. He said, okay, please go to my wife Urmila, he said. So that if you put her to sleep, she will not cry for me for 14 years. And she will be here and I will finish my duty and come back in 14 years. So Nidra Devi accepted to go and take shelter in Urmila, his wife. Ram saw that Lakshmana was so determined. He thought, how can I say no to him? He's, so again, Lakshmana is also selfless. Lakshmana is thinking about whose welfare? Ram's welfare. Ram is thinking of whose welfare? Lakshmana's welfare. See, if you see Ramayana, it's throughout like this. I'm just telling you a few characters. When he went to Urmila, Urmila was telling, my dear husband, you know, I know that you are very fond of your elder brother Ram, you want to serve him. But I will be a big stumbling block in your service to Ram. If I come, you will have to pay half your attention will go to wife. Therefore, I have decided to stay back. I know it's very painful for me to stay back away from you for 14 years, but I will keep on watching the road when you will be back. Huh? And she cried tears and she said, you serve Ram, Sita Ram by being with them, and I will serve Sita Ram in separation. Like that she said. So imagine if any other wife was there in the place of Urmila, she would have told, Ram is taking Sita with him. What should you do? And why are you not taking with me? She didn't ask like that. She didn't compare. So Sumitra also, Lakshman's mother, as soon as Lakshman offered obeisance, she said, my dear son, you should go with Sitaram to forest and serve them. This is my order to you. Even before he explained to her. She didn't worry what will happen to my son. Should he go to forest or not? So actually, why am I telling you all these examples? As any leader, if you want to cultivate selflessness, we have to study such pastimes and appreciate those pastimes deeply in our heart. And then we can also think of others. One example I'll tell you. I took one group of devotees for a program. So, generally, what I would do, if I take a driver with me for a program, as soon as we reach there, I will tell the family people to give him prasadam, because drivers, temple they eat in the evening. So that as soon as program is over, we can leave at night. Hmm. So that day we went for the program. I thought one of the members must have told him. So I finished the program at 9:30. I told immediately we want to go back to temple and sleep. But then the driver said, Swamiji, nobody gave me prasad. Now I have to take prasad. Then we sent him for prasad. That took another half an hour for the prasad. So sometimes we may not care for our driver who is driving us because he may not be such a significant person. But you will see Lord Krishna in the battlefield of Kurukshetra. Arjuna saw at one point of time, at the end of the day's war, Krishna was actually giving water to the horses and caressing their body. So Krishna thought, these horses are serving my devotee Arjun, and I will become their servant and feed them water and care for them because they are actually assisting in the battle. Is it not true? This was the mood of Krishna. Krishna was the perfect servant leader. So another aspect of a servant leader is servant leader is a very good listener. See the second point, somebody can read it? Second point? Yeah. Yeah. Is Krishna a good listener or not? What do you think? Very good listener, isn't it? Like in the battle you find Arjuna is telling Krishna, Senayor Ibayor Madhye Ratam Sthavayame. Krishna, take my chariot in between the two armies. And what Krishna is doing? Tukuduk, 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 and he's stopping the chariot. And Krishna is not speaking a word, but Krishna is mildly smiling. Why is he smiling? He knows Arjuna is going to cry very soon after seeing both the sides. But he is not speaking anything. He is very mature Lord. He knows everything. Then Arjuna saw both the armies and as expected, he started weeping. And then he gave 5 reasons you all know. And what do you think Krishna did? He heard all the reasons. And after all the 5 reasons were over, Arjuna said, Nayotsya, iti govinda muktva tushni babuvaha. He put his bow down and said, I am not going to fight. At that time, Arjuna became very indecisive. He asked one question to Krishna. Nachaitat vidmakkataranno gareyo yadvajaye mayadi vano jayeyo yane bhagatvartha jiji vishamaste vastita pramake dartha rashtraha. He's telling, should I conquer them or should I be conquered by them? Should I defeat them or be defeated by them? Should I kill them or should I be killed by them? I don't know, Krishna, he says. Because they're all on the side of adharma, irreligion. I have to finish the religion. At the same time, they happen to be my relatives and friends, and I don't know what to do with that. I'm totally confused. So Arjuna started weeping. He told Krishna that I accept you as my guru in 2.7 Bhagavad Gita. Shishyaste aham shadi mam tvam prapannam, he said. And then Krishna is telling Arjuna, hey, what are you talking? I am your friend. How can I become your guru? Go to Vedavyas, he's saying. And Arjuna is saying, Vedavyas cannot understand me as much as you know me very well. You are my intimate friend, and you know my psychophysical nature, my personality, everything you know very well. So I will take your advice seriously. But Krishna said, but I am your friend. Friendly talks are always casual, because if a friend tells you do this, you may say, good idea, thank you. You may not follow. Correct, no? But then he told Krishna, no, you are not my friend, you are my guru now. Whatever you say, I will follow. Krishna said, okay, now that you are hiring me, I am ready to give you instruction. Then Krishna began Bhagavad Gita, you will see that. That means first Krishna greatly listened well, and then when Arjuna sought some query, then only Krishna answered. That means if people don't have hunger, if you give them food, it will not be accepted by them. So people should hire us, only then they will benefit. Like one of my friends was telling, in his college days, there was a doctor sitting in the hall like this, in the corner. Boys would enter the door, meet the doctor and tell their problem, and doctor would diagnose and give a medicine. They would go out one by one. So when this boy was entering the hall, doctor was too busy that day. Like that, the boy was like coughing. And the doctor immediately wrote a prescription. As soon as the boy reached him, he tore it and gave it to the boy and said, okay, take this medicine, he said. The boy said, but sir, I have not told you my problem. And doctor said, no, no, why you are coughing, I know what it is. You just take the medicine and go. Send the next fellow. I am getting late now, he said. So the friend told me, as soon as he went out of the hall, he immediately threw that, diagnosis, what do you call it, medicine prescription into the dustbin. Can any of you say why he did that? Yeah, yeah. Yeah, without listening, he gave. He thought doctor has not understood my problem. He didn't listen. And therefore, you find Krishna is a very good listener. Another example I'll tell you, for one who is a bad listener, you can see this one. Okay. This also, I will tell this and then we go to that. Under 10 minutes, we'll finish it. you know, when you're offering correction to somebody, we should think, am I the right person? Or somebody else may be the right person to correct a person. So what we also do, generally we find out, if I want to correct some ex-devotee, who is close to that ex-devotee, we find out. Yeah. Or from whom will the ex-devotee like to hear or has a reverence for someone. Through them, if we correct, they take it seriously. You understand, correct? Uh, Otherwise, we cannot just directly go and without any relationship, if you correct, people don't like to be corrected. You can glorify anybody for any amount of time, nobody will mind it. In a public assembly also, we can glorify somebody, nobody will mind it. But if you correct a person with whom you don't have a relation before, they will get upset. And do you have the right motive? Actually, when you correct, see this picture, is this man having right motive to correct or wrong motive? Huh? His goal is not to correct and rectify the mistake. His goal is to insult the person. Huh? So we should not correct anyone with an insulting desire or ridiculing desire. Huh? Like if somebody is uh, making mockery out of somebody or joking at somebody, ridiculing somebody, they will get put off. They will not correct their behavior. Also, we should know the right way. The right way is, glorify in public, chastise in private, we say. You can glorify in public anybody, but when it comes to correcting somebody, it has to be one-on-one, private. And the time, is it the right time? Sometimes if somebody already has failed in some examination and come, you give one more correction, it will be like double effect. So we should know the right time, when to correct a person and when not to correct. So Lord Rama was the most intelligent. If you know, for example, Sugriva? Sugriva was one of the monkeys. Lord Rama had made him the king of Kishkinda. Do you know that? After killing Vali. Then it was a rainy season, 4 months. So Lord Rama told Sugriva, let this 4 months come to pass. And then in Chaturmas will get over. Then you can help me find Sita when the autumn season starts. So he agreed, Sugriva. Now 4 months passed. 20 more days passed. And Sugriva didn't come at all. Anybody knows why Sugriva didn't turn up? Why? Yeah, yes. He was just enjoying as a king. He was just drinking. He was just surrounded by so many female monkeys. He was not actually caring for Rama at all. He had forgotten the, duty. Many times people make a promise and they forget. People who don't have much integrity. Huh? So he made a promise, but he forgot the promise. He became very careless about his promise. So Ram called Lakshman. Lakshman, come here. You see, this monkey has forgotten his duty. What to do? Lakshman said, at once I'll go and kill the monkey and come. He said. Ram said, if you kill the monkey, then how will the work be done? Huh? Then Lakshman thought, that is also a good question. Huh? He thought. Ram said, don't kill him. His behavior is circumstantial. Circumstantial means what? Sometimes people are good people, good natured people. Steady character is good. But occasionally they commit mistake. How many of you have seen, even a good devotee sometimes becomes suddenly angry? You've seen that? You've seen that? Yeah. Or somebody is steadily doing good service, but they become forgetful sometimes. Huh? They promised you something, but they forgot. It doesn't happen every now and then. So what should we do with such occasional lapses? What should we do? Huh? We should ignore. We should ignore and forgive. You agree? Or should we take it too seriously and cut off a relation with them? Huh? So therefore, we should forgive them. Only if we forgive, they will also forgive us. So Ram said, you forgive him now. Huh? Whatever he is, he is. You go and try to pacify him, explain to him, let us see. Of course, Lakshman went and twanged his bow and Sugriva got frightened. And Sugriva's bad behavior was rectified by Lakshman later on. He became proper. Huh? So, one last thing I'll say and conclude. Who are these two famous brothers? Anybody can tell me why this fight ensued? Anybody can tell me? Who knows what happened between these two brothers? You can raise your hand, anybody? How the misunderstanding came? Where is the mic? We have mic. Yeah, one more mic. Yeah. Anybody would like to say this? What is the underlying factor? Why this fight came between these two monkey brothers, Vali and Sugriva? Anybody would like to talk about it? Yeah, you would like to? Acha, give it her. How he became greedy? What happened?
Um, it was Bali.
Vali, okay.
He
Bali is
wanted
the elder
the
brother and Sugriva is the younger brother.
yes, Sugriva is the younger brother, and Bali he wanted the wife. He did not have what would you say, like the real love for his brother or for any.
You are right. Of course, Vali was a king. And later on, he became greedy for the wife of Sugriva. That comes a little later. But prior to that, one thing happened what caused the fight between them. Huh? What happened was, anybody knows? Yes, Madhya, please give it to her. Yes.
He went to fight with the demon. He's in
There was a
cave.
demon with whom Vali, the elder brother, was fighting inside a cave.
Yeah, he
Okay.
told, if I wait for me, if I don't come, think that I died and you continue ruling the kingdom. So I think Sugriva waits for certain period of
Sugriva
time.
waited for some time and then he heard a loud sound. Like that he heard a sound. So then he thought that now my brother is killed.
Dead.
The demon has killed my brother. He thought like that. And then he thought, after this, what the demon will do? He will come out and capture me and he will kill me also. Then both of us will die. So instead he thought, I will stop the demon from killing me. So what he did?
He put the stone.
He put a stone on plugged the cave. And then he cried loudly for the loss of his brother and then he went. And then when he went, all the ministers saw him and heard the news and they also, cried. And then finally they said, okay, now somebody has to rule the kingdom, right? So what they said? Okay, you become the king. They made him the king. And he accepted. He sat on the throne. Meanwhile, anything happened. You know, Maji Parda? What happened to Vali? Yeah.
comes out and he gets angry.
Actually, Vali was not dead. The demon was dead. And Vali thought that why he has plugged the cave with a stone. Any of you can guess what Vali must have thought?
He thought he wanted to. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, correct. Yes. He wants maybe my brother became greedy for the king's post. So he intended to finish me by putting a stone and he wanted to become the king. This was his assumption, his judging. Here's the example of judging wrongly. Was it correct? It's not correct. And then he kicked the stone very heavily and that stone broke to pieces. He came out, he was a very strong fellow. And as he walked to the royal court, and sure enough, his suspicion became confirmed. Because Sugriva was sitting on the throne and all ministers were reporting to him. And Vali got so wild, he ran to him, started beating him like this. And then Sugriva said, brother, listen to me. He said, I will listen to you after you die, not now. You know? So he hit him hard like this. Then Sugriva had to flee for his life from pillar to pole. I mean, pole to pole he was running, north to south pole. Finally, he went to a place called Rishimukha Parvat where he took refuge because that place was prohibited for Vali. So he couldn't go there. And then, as Mataji was telling, Vali took away Sugriva's wife, Ruma, and all that. So the point is, here, what lesson we learn is Vali judged Sugriva wrongly. That's the point. That's the point I had shown you here, if you remember. Listen to people without judging. Did Vali listen? So I told you Krishna listened to Arjuna. That's a good example. And Vali is a bad example for not listening with people to people without judging. This is a problem. And also listen fully without concluding in between. So there are many stories of people who made snap decisions and they suffered later. Like I heard a story of a man who went to forest on his horseback and he sat under a tree and he ate and drank and then noon time he wanted to leave. When he was leaving back, his dog was also accompanying him. The dog was barking like this and not letting the horse go. He was wondering why my dog is behaving like this. Maybe he has gone berserk. He took his gun, he shot it. And then he went ahead. Then half the way he realized his wallet was missing. When he went back, sure enough, the wallet was found under the root of the tree. I mean, near the root of the tree. And the dog was keeping the hand there and it was bleeding in the mouth. So he took the wallet and he counted the money. It was all safe. He put it in the pocket. And then he tried to wake up the dog. Do you think the dog can come back to life now? It was too late now. Then he loudly cried, "Oh dog, you pitiable dog. I shot you unnecessarily. I didn't know you were good intentions of protecting my wallet." So many times in our life also, we make snap decisions without listening fully or without thinking twice. So that's another lesson we learn. One should avoid making such snap decisions. So this is another good lesson we learned here. So these two, and actually good leaders have these two habits we learned today. One is give up selfishness, think about others, welfare, especially the team which is working with you, and listen to people first. God has given us 2 ears and 1 mouth. So listen well before you judge anybody and give a verdict. And don't make a hasty dash. So I'll conclude with this. Anybody would like to say anything? Yeah. We have another mic with you, Prabhu. So raise the hand, mic will come to you. See, you can speak any one of the 3 things. You can speak a reflection based on what you learned. Yes, the mic will come to you. Or you can recollect a point from the class, or you can ask a question. Okay? Any one of the 3. Yeah. Yes.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. It was wonderful class. I mean, as always, you always give such wonderful classes. I know you haven't been here, but just online I hear. One of the questions that I had, this was very eye-opening, and how do you prevent yourself from judging others, even though you don't want to?
By
Sometimes
giving benefit of doubt. By giving benefit of doubt. Like I should always assume that other people are good in general and not imagine that they have some crooked purpose. What has happened to us, we have been cheated in life by people. So slowly we develop a false vision that everybody is bad and everybody is untrustworthy. We feel like that. So when we learn to trust people and when we give benefit of doubt to people, then we have a more bandwidth to listen to others. Yeah. And also we have to sort of cultivate this habit of willingness to function with people with an open mindset. Like a parachute functions better when it is closed or open. Open. The mind is also like a parachute. It functions better when it's open mind. Open mind means attentive ear and open mind and attentive ear, we call it. So instead of having a closed mind and saying that I know everything what you're going to say, instead of that, if we have an open mind, then we may get a better understanding than what we knew before. Correct. And people also will be confident in dealing with us.
So how long can you go on doing this before it impacts that? Okay, because sometimes people may have wrong intentions, and I mean, especially familiarity breeds contempt, right?
Yeah.
So in those instances, how to kind of.
So in case we had some bitter experience, next time we can take calculated risk. Second time, instead of completely dismissing them. And then if we repeatedly find such behavior from them, we can prefer to keep a distance from them and then connect with people in whom we have trust. Because if trust is betrayed repeatedly, then probably the person's intentions cannot be trusted. So then over a period of time, we can't connect with such friends. So in this world, there are 4 types of people. There are people whose association is uplifting, you know. Then there are people whose association is discouraging and degrading. Then there are people who deal with us but have almost like neutral relation with us. Just Hari Bol, Hare Krishna, that's all. Huh? And there are others whom we see from a distance who never connect with us. So out of the 4 people, we have to beware of discouraging association and that which is untrustworthy association. People who are sweet talking on face, bad mouthing on back, it's called duplicity. Yeah. Say somebody tells you, "Oh, Prabhu, your Bhagavatam class was so good, Prabhu. Everybody was at the edge of the seat, and everybody felt let this class go on for eternity." Like the people speak like that, and then behind they'll go out to somebody else and say, "Oh, everybody was sleeping in the class today. It was a boring class." Huh? So one fellow did this in my class. I caught him. I said, "Hey, you glorified my class in front of me. You went and told that fellow everybody was sleeping." And he got shocked. "Who told you? Who told you?" I said, and then later on he told, "See, Prabhuji, for formality, I have to praise the class. Then he said, "That means now I understood class was not good." No, no, Prabhuji, not like that exactly. You are a senior, how can I say your class was not good? Hey, that means you will appreciate. So his intentions became evident. Correct. So this duplicitous people will get caught. Correct now? So therefore you will see that then you can't afford to keep relation with such people much. Because what happens? You will tell them one thing and they will go and tell 2 dozen people totally different thing. Actually, they will say that you said this very confidently, they will say, as if you have said it. You have never said it. They will go and tell so many people. So therefore I feel that we have to be choosy in our association. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that traveling in the same boat or bathing in the same ghat is not association, he says. Yeah, association actually means opening your heart with affection to somebody. That is association. So he says that to those people whom you don't trust, be business-like, he says. And to people whom you greatly have respect for and you derive nourishment from, then to them you can do Guhyama Kyati Prachati. You can affectionately deal with them. Like we also with our near and dear ones, we open our heart and talk to them without hiding anything and we are willing to listen to them, correct, no? So that we cannot do with everybody in this world because not all are trustworthy. So we have to be business-like with people whom we cannot trust. And with whom we can trust, we know the person's character, then it can come like we say, I'm asking you from the bottom of my heart, or I'm speaking from the bottom of the heart, we say. No, bottom of the heart means there is nothing to hide. That is only possible with those with whom we have full trust. Is it clear?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Anybody else? There's one. Here and then there. Yes.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare
Thanks
Krishna.
for this wonderful session.
Thank you.
I have 2 questions. One is related to when is the right time, or are you the right person, or is it the right way? So it's a practical question, more personally for me. thankfully, by Krishna's mercy, I've accepted him as the supreme and
Yes.
given up the demigod worship again by his mercy.
Yes.
But my parents, they worship Krishna, but they are unable to accept Krishna as the supreme lord,
Okay.
and they actually get upset with me every single time, or rather every single day, that I've given up all the demigod worships, which I have been doing it for almost 40 years in my life, right? So they get upset with me. When I try to say anything good about Krishna, they say that it's not the right thing to do. You have to worship the demigods also. I know I'm not the right person or not the right instrument, but I don't know what is the right way to do it or when is the right time to do it.
Actually, our blood relatives will never want to be preached by us. Like even I have experienced my mother and father also. My mother is very simple, but father, very highly educated man. You know. So when I became Krishna conscious in the early days, when I went to preach to him, he said, "Who are you to preach to me?" No, he got really wild. 2, 3 times I tried, and he would just not listen to me at all. He says, "I have seen you when you were a small kid." So then I thought my father will never become Krishna conscious. Then one day, after 2, 3 years, Gauranga Prabhu had accompanied me to my house. So I had gone to take bath. When I came back, I was surprised. From a distance, I observed my father was talking to him for 2 hours. And this fellow was solidly preaching to him. You know? And he was very politely hearing with a lot of respect to him. And that day I learned a lesson that we should preach our relatives only by other devotees. And we should not preach to them. We should just be very loving and kind to them. Be very nice to them and be the way they want you to be. Even my spiritual master said, if you're living in home and they are still fond of some demigods and they want to keep them in the altar, let them keep it. And you keep your Radha Krishna and Gaurnitai. And you let your eyes be focused on the other deities. And understand that the other fellows are all subordinate to the Lord. That can be our understanding. And if they want to keep them in the altar, let them keep on worship. We don't mind. If you protest and say that we should make a clean ISKCON altar at home, then there is a war. Then some families have seen what they do. You make your own altar, they make their altar. They worship there and you worship here. Both are happy. That also we can allow.
The main conflict comes when they ask me to go to the demigod temples with them.
How we can go? Even she is going, our Rukmini. She's going to that Katyayani temple. Namaste Twambike Avikshnam Swasantana Shivam Yutam. And she's telling, Bhuyat Patirme Bhagavan Krishnasya Tadanumodatam. She's telling, Namaste Twambike Avikshnam. Oh Ambika, I am offering my namaskar to you. Swasantana Shivam Yutam. You are sitting with your husband Shiva and the 2 children on your laps, Ganesha and Kartikeya. And she's saying that Bhuyat Patirme Bhagavan. May Krishnasya, let Krishna become my pati, she's telling, become my husband. Krishna Stad Anumodatam. Please favorably look at me and offer me the blessings, she's telling. So when we go to Devata temples also, we should not see Devatas to be separate from the Lord. We should see them to be like assisting hands of the Lord. Like when I see Devi, Durga Devi, I see her as sister of Krishna. Correct? Now when I see Ganesh, I see for Ganesh, Krishna is like Mama. He is Ganesha's mother's brother. Like that we can see. Then we have no problem. Shiva is a topmost devotee, Vaishnavana Meta Shambhu. Whenever we see Shiva, we don't have to have irritation. We can say, oh, he's a Mahan Vaishnava. Look at Prachetas. They are making Shiva as a guru. Shiva is called as Charachara Gurum. Charachara Gurum. He's called as Loka Gurum. He's called Muninam Gurum. He's called as a Jatadaro, Tibratapo, Muninam Gurum. Vaishnavana Meta Shambhu. These words are used for him. So, we should have a very loving disposition towards Shiva. Not as God, but as a supreme devotee. When we see him. So, by looking at like there's one verse in Bhagavatam which says, Mumukshavo Gora Rupan Hitva Bhutapati Nataha Narayana Kalashantan Bhajanti Hi Anasuyavaha. It says there are Gora Rupams of God like Bhadrakali, Chandi, Chamundi and all that. Devotees don't worship them. And there are sweet looking forms like Kartikeya, Ganesha and all. Devotees neither worship sweet looking forms or the ferocious forms of demigods. At the same time, they are never envious of demigods. Bhajanti hi anasuyavaha, he says. Devotees. So they worship only the Vishnu forms, Vishnu Tattva forms like Sitaram, Lakshminarayan, Radha Krishna. They worship, offering them food with tulasi and all that. But the other forms when they see, they offer them respects with due understanding, without offending them or criticizing them. Because by criticizing, offending them, other people will get disturbed. So we can have our understanding, our chastity and loyalty to Krishna can be kept within, without our excessively pushing it down on others. All right?
Thank you, Prabhuji. One second question is, it's regarding the small story you shared where the person who shot his dog to death.
Yeah.
So at times, not at times, most of the times the Jivatma is under the modes of three modes of material
Correct,
nature.
yeah. They
So,
make a hasty dash.
yeah. So is it just to take that the free will was under the influence of the three modes of material nature, and also it was the karma of the dog that he has to be shot by his own master? Is that the case, or?
Actually, he was in mode of passion, because in mode of goodness you think and act. In mode of passion you think partially and act. In mode of goodness you neither think nor act. In mode of ignorance one is lazy. One is lazy to think also. One doesn't think also, one doesn't act also. Whereas in passion we make a hasty dash. In goodness we think twice and act. Like I am cutting the cloth for stitching a shirt or something. So should I cut once and measure twice, or should I measure twice and cut once? Which one I should do? Measure twice and cut once. If I hastily cut it, then I measure, my Lord, I cut in the wrong place. Then the whole cloth will be waste. So that is a passionate mode. Goodness means you think twice before we speak. There's a saying in English, the spilt milk and the broken glass, the sped arrow and spoken words cannot taken back. So therefore we have to think twice before we do anything, say anything. That's one lesson we learned from the story, because he didn't consider the situation properly. He was made a hasty dash. So he judged the dog wrongly. So from these stories we can understand in our life also, sometimes we judged somebody wrongly, and then later on we realized at least we can say sorry. Like one of my colleagues in Bombay was telling me, he was going with his assistant to one student center, and it was a Ekadashi day. So his assistant told him that, Prabhu, I was thinking when we go to the student center, we'll make carrot halwa and offer to Jagannath, Baladev, Subhadra and give it to students. Prabhuji said, "Arey, we will reach at 8 o'clock. Why don't you just go and take rest?" But Prabhu, if you permit me, I will do that. And the senior Prabhuji thought that, okay, he wants to make carrot halwa because he wants to eat. He thought like that. So they went to the center, he made the carrot and served all the boys. And then the senior asked him, you didn't keep for yourself? He said, no, Puja, I am doing Nirjala Ekadashi today, he said. And the senior was like shocked. Huh? He said, I am very sorry, I misjudged you. I thought that you are greedy for halwa. Now I understand that you had a genuine desire to serve. So many times we don't know what is in people's minds, intentions, we don't know others' intentions. So when their actions or speech is not decodable, we should assume that their intentions must be good. When it comes to our behavior, we should think my good intentions are not good enough. Our intention and action should be in line. But when it comes to others, we can trust their intentions, although we can't understand their actions sometimes. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you,
There was one question there.
Explain about the trust. So Prabhupada somewhere said that do not trust a politician, do not trust a woman, and do not trust a street dog. So can you explain about detail? Because one of my friend, god brother, he was a very good devotee. We are together brahmachari, and he became president. He built 2-3 temples, huge temples. Finally, he became politician. He left the temple, but when I asked him, he said, no, I want to preach politicians and bring them in Krishna consciousness. Blah, blah, blah. Then I didn't understand this philosophy that do not trust women, do not trust politician, do not trust a street dog. So
why it says like that? A politician can do nepotism. Nepotism means favoritism. Like Dhritarashtra is a politician, but he's showing favoritism to his unqualified son. Correct, no? Like Duryodhana, if you see, he was greedy for land and envious of Pandavas. And Dhritarashtra was attached to his son. And he was hell-bent on making him the king. And the result was the whole dynasty was destroyed. You see that. So because politicians sometimes can misuse his power, he can't be trusted. And as far as a woman is concerned, a woman has a tendency to be emotional and soft-natured. Vama Swabhavam we call. So they will forgive someone who doesn't deserve forgiveness. Like Ashwatthama, for example. Ashwatthama deserves to be killed. But Draupadi, due to her soft nature, she showed compassion to him. And the result was, again he sent two more Brahmastras. First he killed 5 children. Then when he was released by Draupadi, he went and put 2 more Brahmastras. You see that. So, because women, due to their emotional nature, therefore what we should do, any decision-making process should have a combination of male and female, both. Like Pandavas, if you see, they heard from Kunti Maharani also, and they involved Draupadi in decision-making also. And other powerful personalities like Bhima, Bhima is on the aggressive side, Yudhishthira Maharaj is on the passive side, Arjuna is on the assertive side, and Draupadi is also on the passive side. I mean, Draupadi is on the aggressive side against the enemies. And in this case, she was on the passive side. She takes to extremes, emotional extremes, like that. So, therefore, Prabhupada says that, women, they would depend on their husband for certain cases where some firmness is required in decision making. They would depend on, like for example, certain things, if you want to say a firm no, it becomes difficult for certain people due to their nature. So one cannot trust and allow a person to make a decision which will be a wrong decision. Correct, no? So Vishwasam Naivakartavyam Sri Rajakulesha it is said. Because in the top position you will see your king sometimes has to act very strongly in certain cases. Like for example, a king goes for hunting to learn how to kill animals and see the blood so that in the war he has to actually kill people. It's not a very easy thing. Uh, but on the other hand, a woman may not be able to do such things. So, due to her emotional nature and Vamasava, which is mentioned, discrimination especially it is said. So, one thing is we should not take the scriptures and distort them to fan our male chauvinism. That is inappropriate. Actually, the Shastras may sometimes talk about individuals' natures of man, woman, child, people like that. That is to ultimately, like for example, women should be protected, Prabhupada says, by father or by husband or by the son. Now, Prabhupada says the intention of this statement is ultimately care for the woman, not to exploit the woman. Correct, no? So, sometimes, like there was one man, he was quoting from Bible. He told Prabhupada that, Swamiji, in Bible it is said, God kept all the animals under the dominion of man. Yeah. So what's wrong in eating? Prabhupada said, see, God has kept them in your custody not for your eating, but for protecting. He said, similarly, a man is not supposed to, just because a woman is kept in the care of man, she is not to be exploited. So, women deserve their respect, just like in the Vedic life, women are respected as Bhavati Bhikshandehi, Bhakti means like mother. They are treated with utmost respect. The modern day billboards in India, we find women are very badly, portrayed in the advertisements and billboards and everything. They put a car and they put women very scantily dressed and giving poses in the car. They sell a bulb and they put a woman's picture. And I don't know what's the connection bulb and woman. So everywhere they exploit the woman. So just because women are to be cared by man, man cannot exploit her. So at the same time, Prabhupada says you may love a child, but you cannot trust a child with big amount of money. For example, will you give 10 lakh rupees to your child and say that, beta, you go home and give it to your mother. If he's taking some thief, may steal it from him. So it doesn't mean you don't love the child. You love the child, but you don't trust the child with money. Similarly, certain people cannot be trusted in certain grounds. Now it's getting late, I think. It's close to 8:30. We should conclude. Can I conclude with 3-4 minutes kirtan? Is it all right? What, Mridanga? Few minutes, let's do kirtan. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Hare Ram. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Bhagavad Harinama Sankirtan ki, Shri Shri Radha Shyam Sundar ki, Shri Shri Gaur Nitai ki, Shri La Prabhupada ki, Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki, Nitai Gaura Premanandi. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Let us all express our gratitude to His Grace Radheshyam Prabhu by loudly chanting Haribo! 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 Thank you very much, Prabhuji, for this wonderful lecture. Tomorrow, Prabhuji will be giving our Bhagavatam class, so please do come at 7:30 in the morning here in the temple hall. Prasadam will be served downstairs, so please do honor Prasadam. Hare Krishna.